Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining PiAcademy's webinar. We are today focusing on 6 months preparation plan for grammar schools. And the reason we run this webinar series for the parents, who are quite curious about what type of preparation they can do it with their child, especially when there are only 6 months left. And we get a lot of chat messages and the emails from many parents, and they ask us the same question. Like, in order to nail this 11 plus exam, which is coming in the month of September for the grammar school, what sort of preparation plan we should have it in place? And that's the reason why we are, as a PI Academy, and our expert panel is here in today's webinar to focus on what are the key strategies the parents should use, what are the key planners they can use, also what sort of exact exam resources they should be using, and what is our expert guidance coming through this webinar. So in today's webinar, my name is Preeti, and I'm the founder of PiAcademy. I look into more towards the maths and non-verbal reasoning for preparing the resources, putting it on the website, preparation of the test papers, and the mock exam. So I look into these two subjects mainly. And my colleague Louise, who is an English tutor, and she's specifically teaching for 11 plus exam as well as for the 13 plus exam. And she's the lady who is responsible for writing a lot of English papers, their detailed solutions on our website. She has also designed a lot of video courses for 11 plus exam, and she's quite actively involved in tutoring for 11 plus exam. So the way we are going to have this webinar session today, firstly, we will go through our PowerPoint presentation, walking you through all sort of various styles of exam boards, and then in the last 15 minutes, as you can see it on our slide, half 12 to 12:45, you guys can keep posting us your questions on our Zoom chat, and we will take each question step by step to answer all your queries. So I welcome Louise in today's webinar, and she will start through English and verbal reasoning, and then I will take over for math and non-verbal reasoning. So here you are, Louise. You can start now.
Thank you, Preeti. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to switch over to my screen here. So as Preeti said, I am the 11 plus English tutor with PiAcademy, and I'm going to be talking a little bit today about the exam boards for English and some of the things to be aware of just in these last sort of year of preparation, things to be aware of, things to be taking into account when you're preparing for your child's exam. So to start off today, we're going to be talking about what is the 11 plus exam, what are the core subjects that are tested. We're going to look at the different exam boards, as I said, for the grammar schools, and I'll show you some example papers, as will Preeti. We're going to talk about assessing your child's readiness for the 11 plus exam, so knowing what stage they're at and how to target them. We'll look at some of the common preparation mistakes that parents often make and ways to avoid them. And then we're going to talk through a time-tested 6-month planner for you to prepare as effectively as possible. So to begin with, what is the 11 plus exam? So the 11 plus exam is very widely used by both grammar and independent schools as the part of the process of getting into year 7. So as you can see there are 2 different dates. The grammar school exam is a bit earlier. It's in September of this year, and then independent school exams always take place in the following January, so a little longer for the independent school. So from now, there's about 6 months remaining for the grammar school in particular. So this is a very crucial time to be planning and doing things in the best way possible, most effective way. So the grammar school test, it's going to include 4 or some of these 4 subjects. Now, it's worth checking what your particular school will be testing because it does vary, but it will typically be English, maths, verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning. And we are going to focus primarily on English and maths today. Now, we always recommend that you check what your particular school will be testing because, as I said, that does vary and you want to be ready for what you'll be looking at on the day. But we always suggest that this shouldn't be your priority. Your priority shouldn't be knowing exactly what board it will be. It should be your general overall preparation of all 4 subjects is going to be really, really crucial. That is the main thing rather than the exam board itself. So there are 4 major exam boards that are used for the 11 plus. The most popular one or the most common one is GL, Granada Learning, which, as you can see, is a large percentage of the amount of schools use that one. Then second is CEM, the Centre for Evaluation and Monitoring, slightly less for that one. And then there's 2 smaller boards, which are the CSSE board, which is the Consortium of Selective Schools in Essex, and the SET test, the Selective Eligibility Test. So the reason we're mentioning these is because it is worth knowing that each board delivers their questions in different ways. You're required to answer the questions. Some are multiple choice, some are descriptive, some are longer written answers. So it's worth knowing what board you're doing just so that your child isn't surprised in the exam. They know kind of what's going to be asked of them. So I'll just quickly talk you through the exam boards for English, and I'm going to show you a little example of some of the papers, like an example paper for each board, so you get an idea of the kind of thing. I'm going to stress this again. It is important to know which exam board you're doing, and I'm sure Preeti will reinforce this. Don't worry loads and loads about the exam board. Focus on the skills, focus on the core understanding of the curriculum and your skills across the board rather than the exam board. That should be sort of something you pay attention to later on in the process. So this is what the exam board for English consist of. For GL, it's multiple choice. It's always multiple choice for the comprehension, and it also contains a spelling, punctuation, and grammar section. So I'll just put this one so you can see. So it always contains comprehension, spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Will always be that same structure. CEM is a little harder to predict. There is no fixed type of question for CEM. They like to vary it and make it difficult. So it can be a combination of multiple choice. There might be some where you have to fill in a gap. There might be close. It's a range of different questions for CEM. But they always contain a comprehension section and verbal reasoning. SET, which is the small one with just about 6 schools that use it, it's multiple choice, but slightly different in that for SET, there are often more than one correct option, which is something that is worth being prepared for closer to the time. You'll have a spelling section for SET plus a variety of comprehension texts. There will be 3 comprehension texts for SET, and that you're required to compare them a bit. So it is quite different to the first 2 boards. And then finally, we have CSSE, which is a descriptive question type or tick the box. So again, different one more time. And it involves comprehension and then applied reasoning. So that's the variation you can see. And I'll just very, very quickly show you what this might look like just for a couple of examples. So we have some of our sample papers here that we have to practice. For GL, I'll just show you kind of what the questions look like. You'll have a passage to read, followed by questions with 5 options. As you can see, the 5 options to choose from, all multiple choice. And then they have the sections where you have to decide which section is wrong. So for punctuation and capital letters, you get these sentences broken up into blocks and you have to circle the one where there's a mistake. This is probably going to be very familiar to a lot of students. So that is the way that the GL will be styled. CEM, slightly different. You've got, instead of 5 choices, 4 choices for each multiple choice question, as you can see. And then it will be a variety, as I said, of different styles of more verbal reasoning type questions, such as well, you'll have vocabulary, you might have clothes, you might have fill in the blanks, synonyms, antonyms, that kind of thing as well for CEM. I know I'm going through this quickly. If you do have any other further questions, please do say in the chat and I can clarify further. SET, as I said before, this is the main thing I want to point out here, is that there are more comprehension texts. I think I said 3 before, I meant 2. There are 2 comprehension texts with 3 sections, 1 section on the first text, 1 section on the second, and then a 3rd section which involves a comparison of the texts. So quite specific skills required for this one. And finally, CSSE is not multiple choice. As I said before, it kind of looks a bit more like this, where you have tick the box, writing down full phrases, and more of a written style of answer. So please be aware of those things, but also don't make it the key part of your preparation. Also, just to note as well, independent schools, if you are preparing for independent schools, they may do things their own way as well. They may use one of these boards, or they may write their own exams. So it's worth preparing for a range of different types of questions. So I think that is everything I'm going to discuss for now. I'm going to hand back over to Preeti. If you have any questions about the English part, please do put them in the chat and I will do my best to answer at the end. So I will hand back over to Preeti.
Yeah, thank you very much, Louis. It's very helpful information you shared with all the parents regarding with all the exam boards. And it's not very different than what you just now seen for the English. It's exactly the same for maths as well. So let's move on. What contains within the maths when it comes to the 11 plus exam preparation? So again, I just recap quickly what Louise had said, which is also applicable for the maths. As you can see on the boards, there are exactly the same boards what Louise has discussed. So we do have GL, CEM, SET, and CSSE. GL is multiple choice questions. GL has multiple choice questions, 50 minutes. I will quickly open the GL math sample paper for you so that you will get an idea how the GL maths paper will look like. Yeah, Vishal, please open the GL math sample paper. While Vishal is opening the GL paper, I just quickly run through what the GL type of multiple choice question paper will look like. As Louis said, it's a multiple choice. Same applies to maths as well. And in the maths, you can see there are 50 minutes and the 50 questions. It's a multiple choice. Pretty much the format is same. But what is more important in the maths type of GL question paper is that you can see there are 5 multiple choices given in the question. So you see A, B, C, D, E. Here I would like to share one tip with all the parents that sometimes the questions looks quite tricky when it comes to the GL paper, because even though superficially it looks like a multiple choice question paper, the question itself are very tricky. So as a parent, you need to encourage your child that even though the question looks quite tricky, they can use a lot of options like elimination of unwanted answers. I mean, of course, this method should be applied only when the child is unable to answer the question. But my point is here is that the multiple choice question paper always have an opportunity not to leave the questions empty. Worst comes to worst, if your child is not able to find out the answer, they can still punch the answer because it's a multiple choice. So that's the beauty of the multiple choice question paper. Having said that, please ensure the concept and everything is very, very clear. And the child knows the workout, because in GL style of paper, they're not expecting to show the workout, but it makes your child a very good habit if the child is doing the workout and then punching the multiple choice answer. So the paper, I will scroll down quickly. The paper is pretty much the same. There are 50 questions, all are multiple choice. And now we'll move back to the next format, which is a CEM style. And in the CEM style question paper, there are 2 sections. Section A, or you can call it as part A, which is a quick maths and quick maths 1 and quick maths 2. And then there is a part B, which is a long maths. Now, the difference between the CEM and the GL is that the GL has a multiple choice, but in CEM, the questions are like more open-ended style of questions. And the time constraint is little critical in the CEM style of exam. But again, as Louise already specified in her talk, that please do not focus on the exam boards, because at the end of the day, your child should be knowing the concept thoroughly. The child should be knowing the topics thoroughly. What matters is just very close to the time you can focus on the exam styles, because that's the point where the child should be knowing how the format of the answer will look like. So this is pretty much about the CEM style. You can see part A, then there is a part B. These are like short maths questions. And when it comes to the section B, or you can call it as part B, where there are longer questions, the time is also critical. On one question, there are four sub questions. So make sure that the child is answering the first question correctly, because there is a relationship between question one and question two. So if question one goes wrong, then there might be a chance that question two can also go wrong. So this is what the utmost care you should be taking along with your child, making sure the exam pattern is very well known to the child. So the next pattern is the CSSE. I will quickly show that paper, but it's pretty much similar like CEM, because it's an open-ended paper anyway. And they give, only difference is that they have a little space to work out in the CSSE style of paper. As you can see here, we are giving the little space. After every question, there is a space and there is a separate space provided for the answer. So that's the difference between the CSSE. And coming back to SAT, SAT is again the multiple choice. Yeah, the SAT is again the multiple choice. There are 50 questions, 50 minutes and 46 questions. They are all multiple choice, no negative marking. So it's pretty much same as the GL. So not much difference between the SAT. And the final one, which is the independent style school paper. We will show you one of the school paper which is already available on our website. So you can see under 11 plus paper, we do have 180 maths past papers. So if I open one paper for you, you can see that this paper pretty much looks like same as CSSE or CEM. There is a space provided to do the workout, and the answers are also provided a specific place. So this is pretty much what the 11 plus exam boards looks like. I will go back to my original slide where we have mentioned all the exam boards, and we will recap quickly. As you can see, I have captured everything, the GL, CEM, SCP, and CSSE. So when we are emailing you our short PowerPoint presentation in your email, we will also send you the sample papers to have a look at your own time. So moving on to the next one. So this is a very common question I get, especially in the month of February or March, because all parents, they become slightly anxious uh, because there are 6 months left over, and they would like to know what is the current status or what are the current levels of my child, when we are appearing for 11 plus exam. So the question is, how can I assess my child's current ability? And we, through my more than 12 years of experience, we have a dedicated team who is continuously assessing children for 11 plus exam. We have jotted down few points for you, which will be very helpful for you when you are assessing your child's current ability. So first thing is, give your child a full length paper to solve under the timed conditions. So when I'm saying that give your child a full length paper to solve under the timed condition, you need to ensure that there are 6 months left. So your child's ability to be a moderate, it should not be too low, it should not be too high. The second thing is separating the question, sub-question, skill-wise for English paper and the topic-wise for maths paper. So what you can do is, once you given the paper, full-length paper under the timed conditions, the child is solving that paper, you need to mark that paper, and then you can identify what are the questions your child has lost the mark, and you can make a consolidated list of where are the gaps. Then the third point is prepare the assessment report. Now there are two ways you can assess your child. One way that you can assess your child on your own, or you can come to us as an expert tutor and then we will do the assessment for your child. So when we are doing the assessment, we will give your child a paper on the screen. The child has to attempt the questions. Then and there only, the tutor will record all the wrong questions in a very systematic way. So this is how our assessment report looks like. So you can see, so you can see that the number of questions attempted by the child are documented along with the topic name, along with the marks available and what are the marks achieved. So the main point here is we are recording your child's score exactly in terms of percentage. What happens is most of the schools or tutoring companies, they might give you that your child is at low level, medium level, or high level, but it's very important to get the numerical value of your child's percentage. So let's take an example here on, say, for example, row number 27, the question number 27. It's the question is a mixed question which is made up of the network, speed, distance, and time. The marks are 3, but the child had scored 2. So we documented that as a partially wrong question. And what happens is we form the basis of all this report and then we will provide you the recommendation. So that's the difference between the child assessed by a parent and a child assessed by a professional tutors like us, because through our so many years of experience, we know what sort of recommendation should be giving out to your child based on his performance. So this is how our assessment report looks like: topics, mistakes by the student, and how to improve. So we make sure the feedback is nice and clean, and the feedback gives a very clean insight to the parent. What are the gaps in your child's learning process? Then we recommend you the recommendations, like what sort of exam papers you can use or you can work on with your child in order to close the gaps which we have highlighted in our assessment report. Then we also write a very consolidated plan. We call it as suggested course plan based on the outcome of the assessment. So here you can see we are telling the parents to start with the basics of algebra and continue to solve higher and higher level word problems. Then if the child is making mistakes in the statistics and probability, we will exactly pinpoint like what should be our suggested course plan. We do provide one-to-one tutoring as well. So this is a kind of a bespoke diagnostic assessment with your child. And then if you decide to come to us for a tutoring, you can do so. And it's a one-to-one tutoring. So it's all up to you. If you want to take this report as a third party assessor, you can take this report back to your tutor, show it to your tutor and get it done from them, or you can come to us. Or the third option can be you can assess your child yourself. And how you're going to do that, I will come to that point very quickly in my second last slide. So let's move on, Vishal, and let's go back to our original slide. The same, I just hold on. So for 11 plus English assessment report as well, we are identifying exactly what are the gaps. So what happens during the assessment, that we try to document the child's answer, and we also know what should be the model answer look like. So this is how we are exactly pinpointing what should be the gaps in your child's learning process when it comes to the English. And the English recommendation plan will also be similar. In this assessment of English, we also carry out the creative writing assessment, which is a very, very major problem to most of the parents, because children are all right when they are doing their comprehension, but when it's coming to the creative writing, which is a mandatory part for most of the schools in the second round, most of the children, they struggle because they cannot write it concisely. There is no plan, and there are lots of gaps in the learning process. We highlight those gaps when we are assessing your child. We are documenting it exactly where your child was having the gap. So, say for example, if the child wrote the creative writing piece and my tutor, for example, Luis is assessing it, he will pinpoint under the spelling, punctuation, and grammar where exactly the child lost the mark. If it comes to the structure, how the child lost the mark. So we have our own checklist to ensure that the child gaps, we will analyze those gaps and we will close those gaps through our various channels. Sometimes we might recommend you to take the one-to-one tutoring. Sometimes we might recommend you to take the courses, and likewise. So this is how we will make sure that the assessment report is nice and clean when we are assessing as a third party assessor. Going back to the presentation. So this is what pretty much, how we will assess your child and calculate the overall percentage with less than 6 months to 11 plus exam. The score should be ideally 70%. That's what I exactly said. In the month of March, your child should not be too low, and we are not expecting the child should be scoring 90 plus and all that. But it should be a reasonably good score. About 65 to 70% is a good score. Move on. How can I assess my child's current ability? This is interesting. I mean, because we get requests from so many parents, finally, I put this pre-diagnostic assessment in place so that all the parents who are joining this webinar today can register completely freely to do this diagnostic assessment for your child. And once you know that your child is scoring 50%, 60%, 70%, you can prepare a plan for the next 6 months in order to address the gaps. Or after finishing this assessment, if you need any help in order to close those gaps, by all means, you can ask us on our chat and we will definitely guide you with what sort of exam resources you can use based on the result. So please take this free diagnostic assessment. It's absolutely free. Register your child and start testing your child, because this is the right time to get the reality check, where your child is on the scale of 0 to 100%. Move on. 11 plus preparation, common mistakes. So now, what are the major mistakes the parents are making? So basically there is no planning, not giving enough time or importance to the high mark topics. So many parents think that if we do the fraction, decimal percentage, statistics and the geometry, the job is done. But no, it's not like that. You need to always ensure that your child is solving the high mark questions or multi-level word problems precisely, not taking regular assessment to track the progress of the child. So it's highly important to make sure on a regular basis you are assessing your child and you know exactly what are the gaps and you should close those gaps. Solving papers too early on without considering the difficulty level of the paper. So most of the parents, they become anxious all of a sudden in the month of March and they're so motivated to start the paper. But firstly, it's a parent's mistake and not the child's mistake, because the children are really young, because you are getting the motivation to start solving the paper. That's not the correct approach. What you must be doing before you start giving the paper to your child, ensure that you are giving the correct difficulty level of the paper. So you should be starting with easy, medium, and then moving to hard. lack of structured tutoring with quality resources. What happens is most of the parents, they tick the box, okay, my child is having 11 plus tutoring and that's it. But you need to ensure what sort of tutoring, what sort of resources your tutor is going through with your child. The structure and the plan is utmost important. And like more than 70 to 80% of the parent, they feel that they have a tutor, but the tutor sometimes do not have a structure. So make sure that these mistakes are avoided. I'm telling you all these mistakes which I'm presenting you here on the slide is through my 12 years of experience when the parents are making mistakes and why the results are not as expected by the parents, why there are always less percentage the child is scoring in maths and English. And these are the mistakes the parents are doing. Solving too many papers instead of reflecting on the previous mistake. I very clearly mentioned in my earlier slide, taking the diagnostic assessment, everybody does the assessment, yeah, but how many of you ensure that whatever the questions gone wrong, you are practicing those questions with your child with the sufficient amount of practice. So say, for example, you realize that algebra is a problem. Now, rather than leaving that gap as it is, you need to ensure when algebra question went wrong, what are the things went wrong? Is my child not understanding the basic operations within the algebra, or where exactly the problem is? So once you identified those problems, then it makes sense to move on to the next papers. So my suggestion to all of the parents is not the quantity of the papers, it's about the quality of the paper, how many questions came wrong, and how much practice you did on those wrong questions to improve the performance, to improve the results. Attempting too many mocks rather than building on weak areas. This is another mistake. Now, in the month of April or May, all the parents, they are hurrying to book the mocks. But you need to first ensure that your child is absolutely ready for taking the mock exam. Otherwise, it may backfire because the child will lose the confidence seeing the less percentage in the mock exam. Also, do not try to attempt like 10 or 15 of mock exams. I have seen parents, they are taking their child to the tuition center literally every week for the mock exam. But it's not going to help you as long as you are not practicing the weak questions from those mock tests. The next mock performance will not going to be great. So do not make those kind of mistakes. That's my personal recommendation to all of you. Move on, Vishal. Yeah, this is very interesting. 11 plus exam preparation strategies. You can definitely follow this time-tested planner. So in week 1 to 8, you can practice lot of topic-wise question. As I said, if your child don't know the concept, don't know the topics really well, it's not making any sense to give them the paper. So if you look at my strategy, week 1 to week 8, we are focusing on the difficult topics. Week 9 to 17, fast paper practice under the timed condition. And week 18 to week 25, practice papers and mocks with focus on exam board. Now, this is where exactly I wanted to make a point. Do not concentrate on the exam board. You should be only concentrating on the exam board close to the time of your child's exam. Because 11 plus syllabus is not going to differ board by board. 11 plus exam syllabus is exactly the same for CEM, GL, CSSE, or even for the independent school. What matters is the format of the answer, how you are punching the answer, whether it is a MCQ, whether it is a open-ended, only those things matter. And that's why through my personal experience, you should be focusing in the week 18 to week 25 from now. So all the weeks, they begin from today. So that's the reference point. Here we are presenting you with a 6 months exam planner, which we are sending you on the email. You can definitely close your eyes and follow this planner. It's completely foolproof, fully tested. So you can see here Week 1 to week 8, we are focusing on all the topics, and you can see we have listed all the list of the topics which comes in the 11 plus exam. You can take your time and go through this planner. Week 9 to week 17, we do have lots of past papers. These all past papers are available on our website. And when we are sending you the planner, the links are also attached. You can go through those links, and once you like it, you can subscribe to our resources. Week 18 to, okay, let me give an example. Yeah, say for example, City of London School paper, that's the name of the paper. The difficulty level is easy. And on our website is the, it's a 18th number paper. So you can see the question paper here. I'm opening in front of you, and these are available on our website. We will email you all the links. So the question is there. There is an answer as well. And click on answer, Vishal. Yeah. So the answers are locked, obviously. We are not opening all the answers to everyone. But the point here is every question is stacked with a topic wise, and there is a question paper to download. You can see on the right hand side, there is a question paper which you can easily download. In fact, all the question paper on our website, they are free of cost. You can download them. But if you want to have a look at the answers, then that's the point where you need to subscribe. So take your time to go through all these planners. I will move on to my third tab now, which is week 18 to week 25. And here I'm coming, here I would like to give you the same point, start practicing the board wise. So you see here we have put all the GL board, all the CEM board in this spreadsheet. So you can keep practicing all these board specific exam papers. And we do have all the additional resources as well. And you can have a look at all the additional resources, which will include lots of stuff, honestly speaking. But most importantly, you will see there are like kind of formula sheets, there are misspelled word. You can see all those once you log into our website. When I'm saying additional resources here, it means the non-verbal reasoning resources as well, verbal reasoning resources, math challenging questions, so on, so on, so on. We'll send you this planner. Take your time to have a look, and you can definitely follow this planner. Presentation. So here I think I covered pretty much everything. If you have any questions, please drop me. I can already see there are 22 questions. Let's see how much time is left over and how many questions I can take it. Yeah, I hardly got 10 minutes, but I try my best to answer as many as questions as I can. So here you go. The first question is, hi Preeti, there any way I can check my child's current level? Yeah, so Vishal, let's open the diagnostic assessment. I think this is the question most of the parent will ask me today, like, because this is a crucial point of the year. We are in the month of March and we must be knowing our child's existing level. While we are opening that for you, I will take the next question. Is it true that the grammar schools are phasing out CEM exam formats and potentially switching to GL? Because Cambridge is stopping this format in favor of online tests. Very tricky to answer because I get this question since last couple of weeks. I really don't know the answer. But again, I'm coming to my same point. Do not focus on any specific board because 11 plus exam syllabus is going to be the same. It doesn't matter whether it is an open-ended answer or whether it is a multiple choice question. If your child doesn't know the topic, doesn't know the concept, the child cannot answer any of the board questions. So let's not consider those minute details right now at this point of the time of the year. So yeah, coming back to the first question, what Lakshmi asked, and here is a diagnostic assessment. You can see it's freely available on our website. You just need to register your child and start taking the test. My strong recommendation is when you're taking a test, ensure that the child is fresh, the child is not exhausted to make sure the performance is good. You can take this test, take it as a stretch. So allow sufficient time when your child is attempting the test. And what you get in this assessment is Vishal, can you scroll down? Yeah, thank you. So basically, once it's everything is online, so you will see the score instantly online. You can also see a leaderboard, so you will get pretty much idea how the cohort is performing with your child. So I think I have answered this. Can somebody from our team will put a link of this diagnostic assessment in the chat, so all the parents they can see it immediately. What is FSCE exam format? I saw Chelmsford Girls High School got tagged for this format in a website. Honestly, I haven't heard about FSCE format, but let me research a bit what is this FSCE format and get back to you. Can you make available some QE Boys Barnett sample past papers? Alternatively, which other school exam papers can be used for assessment? Sure, I can walk you through. So on my website, PiAcademy.co.uk, you can see under 11 plus paper, we have huge bank of resources. So this is the tab which all parents can have a look at. You can see we do have 11 plus math paper, topic wise, English past paper, VR, NVR, practice paper, everything pretty much here consolidated under one roof. So your question is for QE style paper. QE is, by the way, the GL format, and I will open the GL format question paper for you. You see on the second row, second column, 11 plus practice papers. That's a place where you can see all the GL, CEM, ILCB, SET, and CSSE papers. So here you can see there is the 11 plus GL style bundle. Those are the bundles which you can use it for the GL exam for your child's preparation. So there is a question from Naveen. What is the cost of assessment? Let me clarify this doubt. Yeah. So we do have two types of assessment on our website, and let's not get confused. Yeah. One assessment, which is completely online and there is no tutor involved, which is absolutely for free. And we do have another diagnostic assessment where our tutors are involved and we charge for that because the tutor is coming on the Zoom call. They are sharing the screen, they are sharing the question paper, and the tutor in person in the live session assessing your child. And that's why we charge for that assessment. The cost is not on the top of my head, but we will send you both the links for the diagnostic assessment. So one diagnostic assessment, which is online, which is not, there is no human involved, and all the instant result will be shown to you instantly along with the leaderboard. That is completely free, and there is a paid diagnostic assessment. We will be sending you both links here on the chat. What is the, I think I have answered that. Are the questions more of GL, CM, CSSE, SAT format, or it's more around assessing the topic wise? It is more assessing the topic wise. We are not at all focusing on the exam board because I'm telling you through my 12 years of experience, there is no point in focusing on the exam board when you want to test your child. As a parent, or even if there are the tutors in this webinar, I would strongly recommend for your child the topic wise assessment is utmost important because you must identify what are the areas, what are the weak areas of your child, and it's very important the child's exam readiness and exam readiness topic wise and the skill wise. So to answer this question, we are not dedicating this assessment to any specific exam board, but this assessment is curated by my 10 plus years of tutors experience, and we put it available, which is on our website, freely available, and you can definitely take an advantage, and it will give you a very strong basis to identify what is your child's current ability. When is the best time to prepare for the creative writing? Is it best to wait until the child passes the stage 1 exam? No, not at all. It's not at all a good idea to wait until the stage 1 because the creative writing masters a lot of other areas like vocabulary, which is essential even for the stage 1. So you should never make a mistake to wait until stage 1 and start practicing the creative writing. There are two reasons why you should not be doing that. A, creative writing is not a math subject that you can remember a few of the formulas and you can apply it right away. Creative writing is a consistent process. It needs a lot of reading, needs a lot of vocabulary building. The child should be knowing enormous literary devices, spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And in stage one, the child is passing the exam on the basis of comprehension. And comprehension also needs extensive reading, building of vocabulary, a good skill set for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. So you should never make that mistake. Is this assessment board specific? I think I have answered that question. All of the parents in this webinar, I would strongly recommend remove that board specific kind of things completely, because 11 plus exam syllabus is exactly same. It doesn't matter what board you are preparing for. How to assess pre-assessment? I think I have went through that question already. What would be your advice for someone who isn't sure about which school to aim for? Yeah, I would like to address this question. First of all, if you are not sure about the school, then it becomes quite tricky, because if you want to apply for a specific school, then you need to have a specific catchment area. There are hardly few schools which do not look into the catchment area. So I think you need to know what school you are aiming for, because in order to begin 11 plus exam journey, there should be some basis to begin this journey. And I think having, like, say, for example, 10 schools in your mind would be a good start, to begin this journey. What is the ideal good high mark on the free diagnostic assessment? I would suggest about 60 to 70% at this point of time. Yeah, so my team has given you the link for the diagnostic assessment. From Kate, thanks, Luis. It would be great to know more about creative writing section of the English exam. I will pass on this to Luis actually, because there are a lot of questions on the creative writing. So, Luis, why don't you go through the creative writing, how the checklists are working, etc., etc.
Yes, sure. That's a good question. Because, it's going to vary in terms of the type of question that you'll be asked to write. So we see descriptive like questions, narrative questions, persuasive, expository. We do have some courses on here which go through each of those types. And what we suggest that you do to prepare is to practice all the different styles of writing. So letters, diaries, articles, newspaper reports, speeches, even descriptions, stories. As you can see, that on here, we've got loads and loads of different questions that you can practice. So first of all, practice a wide range of writing tasks to begin with. Also get into the habit of planning and following a checklist. So I'm sure that Vishal can show us the checklist somewhere. We have examples on the website of plans that you can kind of use as a model to show you what the kind of thing to do. Always plan beginning, middle, and end, as you can see there. Always plan out whether or not you're going to use particular devices in each section of the plan, and follow the checklist that you can download. It includes the different sections that you need to make sure that you've done. Have I done a clear beginning, a clear middle, a clear end? Have I used a range of punctuation? Have I used a range of different verbs, different, you can see there, different sentence structures? Have I started my sentences in interesting and varied ways? Have I used interesting connectives? And then at the bottom, as I said, punctuation. This checklist helps you to avoid comma splicing. It helps you to think about your shifts in focus. Vocabulary as well. It reminds you to use ambitious vocabulary, verbs, adjectives. It also talks about, I believe, figurative devices and using the senses, and all of the different features that you want to be including. If you practice using this checklist, your child will get used to having those necessary criteria in their mind as they write. So use the checklist, get into the habit of planning, and vary the different types of writing that you're doing. That will mean that you're as prepared as you can be for a task. We've also got on our website lots of different examples, and we've highlighted, as you can see, the different sections from the paper from our writing task that show that we've included different things. So you could also use this as a task for your child, get them to write something and then highlight everything that they've used. So they get into the habit of thinking, okay, if I highlighted this, would it be covered in highlight? If so, great. If not, how can I improve? So I think those are my main pieces of advice. I hope that is sufficient.
Yes, thank you, Liz. Yeah. Great. And apart from that, we also have lots of courses on the creative writing, in fact, Louise, isn't it? So I will show you all the parents where they can take our courses. We do have video courses on our website. You see, I'm just having my hand icon there, videos. If you click on the videos, you will see there are a lot of comprehension, creative writing, advanced algebra, all sort of videos are there. And what just now Lewis showed you, there is a creative writing mastery course as well. So you can take this course. We are sending you the link on the chat so that you can book. It's not booking actually. You can use this course throughout the year. It's a pre-recorded course. Okay, there is a question by Roshan. What is expected percentage of marks if they attempt full syllabus mock exam now and end of April expectation? What is your recommended percentage of marks in PiAcademy maths and English papers now and end of April? Let's split this question in two parts. Yeah, so I will split the first question. What is expected percentage of marks if they attempt full syllabus? So when you say the expected percentage of marks, it's highly important to know what schools you are aiming for. So in my area, because I live in North London in Barnet, and the parents are very pushy and they want to apply for Henrietta Barnet or QV boys, then the expected percentage of mark is right now 90-95%, because the schools are highly competitive and parents, they start the tutoring at least 2 years in advance. If that's your dream school. For other schools, I would suggest about 65-70%. And the second question is, what is your recommended percentage of marks for academy, maths, and English? I think I have answered that question in one. My recommendation will be based on the type of the school. If it's high performing school, I would strongly recommend 85 to 90 right now. If it is medium level, then 65 to 70. The next question, Raj, where is the best place to access the past paper and practice paper? Sure. So as you can see, my website is open. It's a home page. You see under exam paper, 11 plus papers, you can literally browse each and everything which is necessary for the 11 plus exam. So I will open one for you. All the rest are the same. So 11 plus maths past paper. This is outstanding resource because we have 180 papers. And the beauty of this resource is we have segregated all the questions from past papers under the topic wise. So you can also see we have extensive list of topic wise. And this is where right now, at this point of time in the month of March, you all parents need to ensure the topics are strong and the foundation is nice and clean. You see under the topic wise, we have 11 plus maths topic wise, we have 10,000 plus questions. And most importantly, these are all past papers or sample paper questions. So you can fully trust this resource because these are not questions raised by PiAcademy. These are all questions coming through the past papers and the sample papers. What is our specialty in this is the answer. So I will also walk you through a couple of answers. So let's have a look at answer section. So if I click on answer, you will see that every answer is a handwritten detailed solution, which is provided with the time guidance. You see, answer is a handwritten solution. It also comes with the time guidance. So we are telling parents how much time your child be spending on each of the question. You see, 1 minute 40 seconds is the time. And every question, because as I said, not just this question specific to the perimeter and area of a rectangle and a triangle, this is associated with the geometry, area and perimeter, and the compound shape. So this is the speciality of ours where we are segregating each question from the past paper or the sample paper as per the topic wise question. You can definitely practice this. It's an enormous resource and it is applicable for any exam board. It really doesn't matter what exam board are you preparing for. I think this is the place where you can see all the papers. So PiAcademy, exam papers, 11 plus papers. You will find all the subjects there. Will these slides be available after the webinar? Yes, sure. We are going to send everything what we discussed in this call here. Kindly share this week planner Excel sheet. Sure, we will do that. Very useful. Thanks. Also, we can please get the planner. Yes, you will get all the planners and everything. I think I have covered pretty much everything. Diagnostic text, I think we talked a lot about the diagnostic test as well. If we have missed anyone's question, by all means, you can ask me or you can join our webinar group. We do have a dedicated 11 plus exam group. We shall please send our WhatsApp group invitation on the Zoom chat so all the parents can join that group. And I'm also present there. So you can ask me the questions on my WhatsApp, or we do have a support team who can answer all your questions. So we are sending you the invitation to join our WhatsApp group. Please do that. And before today, we are having 30% off on all the resources which you would like to purchase. Do not forget to apply a coupon code webinar 30. And yeah, you can take an advantage of this sale. I think we have pretty much covered all of your doubts. And I wish you all the very best. Do not forget to register your child for the diagnostic assessment to check the readiness. And I wish all of you lovely Sunday, lovely remaining Sunday, and see you soon in our next webinar series. Thank you, Louise. Thanks a lot. And thank you to all of you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Bye.